Chainsaw Man is Shonen Jump's new epic fight show, a step beyond Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen. Those were late-night shows where characters bled and meant it, with high stakes and grounded worlds. Like Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man is set in modern Japan, and doesn't look to have any heavyweight fighting pandas, although he's not a panda, or bare-chested youths with boar masks. Though the boar mask get-up could work for a chainsaw guy, look at Leatherface in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So far, the blood-drenched chainsaw stuff is mostly the weak link. That's not to dismiss it. By part 7, our hero Denji is leaping into a giant monster maw and letting loose on labyrinths of squirming flesh, lapping up gore gushers to sustain himself. That's impressive, though other anime had more visceral battles through viscera. Think of Attack on Titan's fights. Chainsaw Man's previous monsters weren't much different from those in a comedy action-alike Bastard, for all their blood and goop. There's a thing made out of giant worms, and it's meant to be disgusting, but its oversized, fright-wigged head is plain silly. It's like a pound-shop version of the giant, Audrey 2, plant in Little Shop of Horrors. Denji himself looks cool. This is a guy with 2 chainsaws on his arms, and another sticking from his head, and that transformed head looks like a metal version of the DC villain Venom, complete with needle teeth. He'll liven up figurine cabinets and MCM cosplay photos. And yet he feels like another weak link, like Christian Bale whenever that thespian got masked up and shouty in Batman. So far, nearly all the really interesting stuff in Chainsaw Man has happened when Guts aren't flying around and Denji's in human form. Chainsaw Man seems set in a parallel world present. Monsters are public, global knowledge. An early episode reveals there was a cataclysm when a super devil wiped out more than 1 million people. Wisely, this monster has not been glimpsed so far, just the carnage it left behind. A scene of a family house being literally blown away feels like a 1950s A-bomb documentary. Denji's grown up in this world, as an ordinary youth enslaved by the Yakuza. He works off his late dad's debts by killing low-level demons with the help of another demon, a doggy with its own chainsaw face accessory. By part 2, Denji's gone beyond humanity, merged with the doggy and dismembered his masters. Following Shonen Jump tradition, that's when Denji's recruited by monster hunting specialists and starts a new life. The startling thing about Denji is that he's a very old kind of Shonen Jump hero. Forget recent types like Tanjiro and Yuji. Denji's their age, but he's closer to the infant son Goku in early Dragon Ball, the pre-stories where Goku looked 6 years old and checked if you were a boy or girl by slapping you there. Denji's 16, so he's desperate for sex, though his initial obsession is just to touch a girl's breasts. This gets spun into a joke about how boobs are Denji's whole motivating dream, his horny substitute for avenging loved ones or fighting for justice. As a puerile joke, it gets old almost instantly. But it feels fresh as a portrait of an infantile hero who loves singing in the bath or having good bowel movements. It also leads to very interesting scenes between Denji and his woman colleagues, especially his enigmatic, satanic-eyed superior Makima, who cheerfully panders to Denji's lusts. Toying with the lad like someone about to break out a whip and nutcrackers. Another woman, the non-human devil girl Power, comes to live with Denji, leading to a dynamic like Shinji Asuka in Evangelion. And then there's another female, Himeno, whose first smooch with Denji has instantly gone down among anime's most memeably mortifying disasters. Members of the jury, your deliberation please. Under the coarse comedy, there's the promise of real human vulnerability. There are slices of realistic life. A demon hunter rising in the morning and preparing breakfast is shown at fascinating, moving leisure. Even the catastrophic drinks party feels like a meeting of real people. The anime's also underpinned by incidental music that's most unlike the usual Shonen Jump fare. It's by Kensuke Ushio, with that composer's signature detached melancholy. And good heavens, how Part 8 pays all of that off. It breaks the template not only of Shonen Jump anime but of pretty much all TV anime. It has the ambition of The Body, a famed episode of Buffy, the Vampire Slayer which doused that series in messy, clumsy, grief-stricken reality. But unlike Buffy, Chainsaw Man does it through human and humane animation, even when it's showing someone's body being destroyed piece by piece. Symbiont, Denji's origin story has him merge with a non-human creature, his loyal, devil, familiar Pokita. That puts Denji in a tradition of symbiont Japanese heroes. For example, Ultraman on TV back in 1966 was a benign alien who merged with an ordinary human. More recent examples include Ken Kaneki in Tokyo Ghoul, who receives an organ transplant from a ghoul, and the boy Shinichi in Parasite, who survives an attempted takeover by an alien parasite but ends up being stuck with a talking hand. End bonus: you may habitually skip a show's end credits, but make an exception with Chainsaw Man. As of writing, all the episodes after the first have played out with different elaborate end credits sequences, each with a track by a different artist. The Berserk, randomized ending to Part 3 is an obvious standout, though Part 7's ending is great fun as well, with 8-bit gaming references and a callback to the show's sickest joke. All we need now are clean copies of these endings without the credits over them.